capital of Kazakhstan is a city symbolizing the embodiment of a dream. Built in just 2 decades, it amazes guests with its futuristic design. From the very construction beginning, the high-tech style was taken as the basis. However, in modern world, architectural trends are changing very quickly. Now residents of the capital will not be surprised by the skyscrapers. Searching for unusual forms, the authors of the buildings began to address to parametric architecture and biotech style. Against the background of the newest buildings, the main symbol of Kazakhstan, Astana Bayterek Monument, still occupies a central place. The tower, built in 2002, still sets the style for the entire left bank of the young capital. When you go around Astana, you can't even imagine that buildings are different, and it seems that they are completely incompatible. And when you step up the Bayterek, you see how interdependent it is with each other. I have not seen anything like it. There are certainly viewing platforms, which are also in a circle, but I have not seen a spherical shape like that. Bayterek is the most popular place for taking pictures. Like 16 years ago, an unusual form draws the eye, and the observation deck at an altitude of 97 meters boggles the mind. In order to ensure the stability and safety of the whole structure, it took more than 1,000 tons of metal, and the famous ball was made of special curved glass. When building Bayterek, the climatic conditions of Astana were taken into account. You know that there are strong winds, frosts, and for this purpose they used shock-resistant Italian glass 5 centimeters thick, as it retains heat. Naturally, when Bayterek swings, some deformation occurs.
Когда Байтерек качается, происходят какие-то деформации.
Therefore, the monument is periodically closed for restoration. Bayterek changes with time. The old dome glass was replaced with new energy-saving. Special sealant will withstand temperature extremes. They are constantly updating heating, air conditioning, and security systems. The interior is also changing. The current Bayterek is much brighter than it was just a year ago. The white marble gives this effect. It is used in the decoration of the floor. During the reconstruction, the level of 97 meters was changed. The dome of Bayterek has changed. Here is a shanarak right in front of you. As you know, since ancient times, Kazakh people considered it holy. It is a symbol of propagation. The birds hover under the white shanarak. These birds are made of Czech crystal, which gives a special color to our interior.
Чешского хрусталя, который придает особый колорит нашему интерьеру.
The view from the observation platform is what attracts tourists more than the usual shape of the structure. Now, one can observe a thoughtful, actively building city from the transparent ball. 18 years ago, when Bayterek did not exist even on paper, but only in the head of architect Akmurza Rustembekov, we could see only steppe and marshes at this place. You see this metal, engineers, this complex technical building, designers, communications, all was done by Kazakhstan people. It took a little more than a year for design and construction. It was not even an emergency. We were not even thinking about money or any fees. It's just happiness to make a symbol.
Мы даже о деньгах, о каких-то гонорарах не думали. Это просто счастье такое сделать.
Проект хороший, оригинальный проект.
The project is nice, it's original, and moreover, it was not so easy to build it. First, this ball is bent, so he constantly cared about it. He said that it was hard to do it because of curved glass when it was docked, but in the end, it was mastered.
Гнутые стекла, это при стыковке тяжело идет, но в конце концов с этим делом совладали же.
The years after the capital's transfer were a time of creativity, enthusiasm, and hard work. And although eminent architects from around the world were invited for the construction of Astana, domestic architects had no less work.
Когда Астана переехала, много работы, и как раз избрали в это же время Rustembekova, Akmurza Pисаевича.
When Astana became a capital, there was a lot of work, and at that very time, Akmurza Rustembekov was elected. And being a young president of the Architects' Union, he began to organize meetings with our Western architects very actively. Recently, an international congress was held in Astana under the auspices of the Ministry of Culture and Astana's mayor's office. And the topic was very nice. The 20th anniversary of the capital is like the general perception of Astana, because many people saw Astana for the first time. And naturally, many of them were surprised, as such a city was built in 20 years.
Очень хорошая была 20-летие Астаны же. Вот, и как вообще восприятие Астаны, потому что многие впервые видели Астану. И, естественно, многие удивились, что за 20 лет можно построить такой город.
Despite the wealth of creative and bright buildings, every guest of the capital seizes the moment to visit Bayterek. Foreign tourists love this place not only for a 360-degree view, but also for a beautiful story.
I like this view from this floor of the building because I can see around the city from here, and with this height, I think the view is like a gorgeous view.
It looked like bird house inside. It's something like that. I don't know exactly, but it looked like that. And it's too high, so it looks like a tree or something like that.
The building is an architectural gem. I've been in a lot of places, but I haven't seen anything quite like this before. And the view is spectacular because you get to see the architecture of the city. It's really incredible. We see it on postcards and in pictures, but to actually see it is so much better.
The dragon to the bird at the top, and the unity of the earth and the sky, and evil and good, and it's very symbolic, and I think it's a wonderful symbol for the country.
The legend taken as the basis of the symbol is also reflected in the construction. Bayterek is a tree connecting 3 levels of existence. Its roots go back to the underworld, the trunk is in the earth, and the crown is in the heavenly. The underground part of the monument goes to a depth of 4.5 meters, and the observation platform is at the level of 97 meters. Perhaps only foreigners still do not know that this height symbolizes the year of the capital's transfer. The author admits that he put his heart into creation of this monument. Being the main author, it is difficult to talk about it, but sometimes I visit Bayterek. I come here as an ordinary guest of Astana. I know that they visit it a lot. Of course, it has become a little outdated during this time. We have updated the interior a bit, but it seems to me that it is established as a symbol.
Мне кажется, она как символ состоялась.
We want architecture to be modern, and in this respect, we are very close in spirit with Akmurza, Rustembekov, because he also makes modern architecture in his works. If you look at Bayterek, this is certainly a super modern structure which was built quite a long time, but remains modern now. The path of the architect, Akmurza Rustembekov, began here in Akmula region. The center of Kazakhstan was Almaty at that time. The elder brother, who is also an architect, went first to the famous garden city to conquer it. Back then, young Akmurza Rustembekov remembered impressions about the first visit to Almaty for a lifetime.
Брат встретил, и он первым, значит, повел меня на архитектурный факультет.
My brother met me, and first he took me to the architectural department. I saw these drawing halls, sculpture halls. The students walked around with some pads, stretchers, they fussed. I looked at these marble busts of such philosophers as Homer, Apollo. Well, I thought these are some kind of non-people. They're probably created by God.
Какие-то не люди, это просто от Бога, наверное, созданные.
The 60s of the 20th century were the golden age of old Almaty. Equal parallel streets, large concert halls, cinemas and parks, all this made an indelible impression on the future architect. Akmurza Rustembekov entered the Profile University 3 times. The competition was huge. On the second and third courses, Beke Brive said that there were hundreds of people and only 5 real architects would be among them, and everyone compared himself and wondered who would be in this top 5. The course of 1975, when Akmurza Rustembekov entered the desired specialty, later became widely known in the architectural environment. Some of them successfully engaged in practice. The others began to teach young people. The classmates of Akmurza Rustembekov noted that those traits of character for which the architectural community respects him have been in him from the very first course.
После первого курса поехали на практику в Узбекистан.
After the first course, we went to practice in Uzbekistan. There were about 50 people. It was 2 large groups. Just imagine that we traveled by ourselves through the whole of Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, from Tashkent to Samarkand and further to Khiva. And among those who organized our trip, bought tickets, helped us and supervised the entire journey was Akmurza Rustembekov. We were 18, 19 years old. We could sit out and did not take on a responsibility, but if it was necessary, he took it. The architect does not forget to visit his alma mater to share the accumulated experience with the next generation. It is very difficult for me to imagine that there can be a football ground in the yard, isn't it? Really. I also really like it, and there is some kind of plastic, right? Tell me your thoughts and vision. I would say that the pathway is inconvenient for the cars. Maybe it's better to forbid the cars right here, as there is a parking. Why is it needed? Why do they need to let the cars in here? It would be better to leave the pathway for firefighters and ambulances and make the parking external or underground. Actually, it seems to me that it's forbidden to let the cars in here. Now Akmurza Rustembekov is not only the president of the Architects Union, but also the chairman of the State Certification Commission. Every year he considers graduation projects of about 200 graduates. He actively discusses the presented work with each graduate.
То есть наше молодое поколение с новыми идеями, он как человек вечно молодой, энергичный, полный.
Our young generation has new ideas, and as he is forever young, energetic, full of creative ideas, ambitions, he is constantly on the same wavelength, even in discussions of some details of our project. That is, he helps young people to be realized in their profession through the organization of events, seminars, conferences, and competitions.
Помогает молодежи реализоваться в своей профессии. С помощью организации творческих мероприятий, семинаров, конференций, также конкурсов.
In his native academy, Akmurza Rustembekov is well remembered by his teachers. Now they are already his colleagues and good friends. Bekrimjan Glaudinov is the first professor of architecture in Kazakhstan. He was the dean when Akmurza Rustembekov studied here. The teacher remembers that he talked in person with everyone who passed the exams to make sure that none of the applicants didn't come here by mistake. Now the head of the Architects Union behaves in exactly the same way with the graduates of the academy. This is a person who is constantly looking for answers. He's always interested in what graduates of our university achieve, whether their knowledge is necessary for practical needs, whether they can work successfully. The organization of competitions is another responsibility of Akmurza Rustembekov. Thanks to them, the architects can receive orders. That's why the president of the union is trying to attract more promising young people to participate in numerous exhibitions, expositions, and other events. Akmurza Rustembekov is certainly a very creative person. He's primarily an architect. Of course, he's the president of the Architects Union, the head of a large public organization. But he's an architect in essence and spirit. He has an architectural group and he designs by himself. In general, I think we had an interesting team. Yes, it turned out to be a real synthesis of art. And I remember how you defended all your monumental affairs and how we did this panel here. One of the outstanding projects of Akmurza Rustembekov and the muralist Gaziz Ishkenov is Jibek Joly metro station. The authors of the project wanted it to be not just another type of public transport, but also a real creative platform. Therefore, they approached the design with special care. Together with Akmurza Rustembekov, it was decided that the Silk Road is of course connected with Asian cities. There must be ceramics and glaze. And we used this technique. Our local craftsmen performed the work at our enterprises. The station is decorated with such natural stones as marble, granite, onyx, and travertine. The main attraction of this place is the panel depicting the conventional map of the Great Silk Road. Here you can see the designations of the largest cities of the Asian highway from Rome to the Asian side Bozok, recently found on the territory of Astana. Patterns and images of cities are created in the technique of shamat. It is a refractory clay decorated with ceramics and glaze. Pictures were not in the plans, but the author of the station, Akmurza Rustembekov, insisted on decorating the walls. There are a lot of big blind planes here. This is a rightly diaphragm. It was just necessary for constructive stability, and we urge the customer and person of state that it is necessary to enrich, as it cannot be just blank walls. There were many options. We wanted to put sculptures in different ways. We worked with monumentalists and artists. We drew and sketched. When visiting customers, developers, we simply stretched banners on these walls, as it could be, and we set the topic that it was Jibek Joly, or the Great Silk Road.
Тему задавали, что это Жибек Жолы, да, великий шелковый путь.
Здесь должны подчеркнуть особенность Акмурза Исаевича. То, что
I must emphasize the special feature of Akmurza Rustembekov. I think this is a professionalism. Not every architect can consummate what he did. He persuaded customers, he treated us with understanding in the process of artistic advice, and he was the first to support us. It was necessary to do that. Someone wanted to simplify this business, to have a budget choice. However, Akmurza Rustembekov insisted on this every pattern. I saw how they defended their notion. This effort sank in. Jibek Joly is a busy station with a large capacity. People waiting for the train have time to consider both the panel and the unusual decoration of the walls. It's nice that we have all the stations decorated in a peculiar way. Each station is different. Our national dignity is emphasized. It is very beautiful. I like the station because it's light and beautiful. Our relatives came from Russia, friends came from America. We all go by our subway. We were abroad, but I think our Almaty subway is very beautiful, modern, and our trains are very fast.
Красивое, оно очень такое современное, наши поезда очень быстрые.
Jibek Joly metro station is the largest in Almaty and differs from the others by the presence of a two-level lobby. Moreover, here Akmurza Rustembekov didn't go the easy way. The station turned out bright and spacious despite the fact that the entrance to it is located in the very center of the city at a busy intersection. Being authors, it seemed to us that there should be a lot of light in the main lobby, and there was some kind of synthesis with the air and the placement itself. It was possible to create such a space only by inclined planes, so that the sky could be seen and there was a street. Of course, there were difficulties because these are very large glass planes. It was necessary to maintain thermal insulation, damp-proofing. In addition to the station itself, the architect also worked on the building of the subway control center, which can be accessed directly from the underground. During the start of construction at the disposal of Akmurza Rustembekov, there was a cramped intersection in the old city center and a specific task to enter 15,000 square meters of working space here. In order to fulfill it, they had to make the building 9-story and place it right on the corner. It is located right on the busy intersection and had to be entered in such a way that it didn't interfere with the square. Today, the street is already pedestrian. It is made in a way so that it does not interfere with the environment. Of course, there were motives to modernize this building, and therefore we made some inclined glass angular planes. Well, it seems to me we entered this building laconically. This building is a secure facility, so special attention was paid to it. And although the glass walls look fragile, the subway control center is distinguished by an increased seismicity coefficient, and the inclined glass is reinforced with an additional frame. We did the same glass. Now it will be a baluster of marble completely. It goes here and all this continues. Another project of Akmurza Rustembekov is the building of the drama theater in Taldykurgan. It is under construction now. This theater is an opportunity to show your architectural talent, the author says. Here you should take into account not only the appearance and strength, but also the acoustics, location of the theater, and many artistic details. Still, a theater is some kind of cult construction. There are so many theaters and art projects in the world which are unique, but it seemed to me that it should be a neoclassic with a lot of decoration because it's a temple of art. Not all ideas of the architect are translated into reality. Akmurza Rustembekov believes that he should be not only an architect but also a good speaker. Presenting the idea, the most important and hard work is to defend it. It's not enough to make sketches, then a working draft. The most important thing is to carry out. You can give the project and stop practicing it later, because the interest of the customer, even in person of the state, will not coincide with the opinion or ideas of the architect. It will be simplified, and so on. This is the author's struggle. The author must believe. It's very important when the author assures the developer that is the builder. It is necessary to make him believe in it. If he believes, and if I convince all these customers, then it may be succeeded or not. This is particularly impossible. Kazakh architect still has a lot of work ahead, and as the president of the Architects Union, he has even more. Construction is going on everywhere, and some cities need a complete renovation. One of them is Turkestan. Now another big task is facing him, of course. I think this is one of the main things now. You know, the presidential decree was issued. Turkestan region was formed and the city of Turkestan must be revived. It had to be revived long ago, but you know, it's not so easy, unfortunately. Naturally, the architects are actively discussing this now, as well as the Architects Union. A competition has already been held on this topic. There will be many contests related to Turkestan. Of course, this is such a special place. There must be a particular approach. The work of Akmurza Rustembekov regarding Turkestan is to preserve the historical color of the city, carefully entering new structures in it, attracting Kazakh architects to this, and gaining support of colleagues from around the world. The architect likes to mix old and new in his projects. For more than 15 years as president of Kazakh Architects Union, he was given new sources of inspiration as an artist. Constant meetings with domestic and foreign colleagues, communication with the young generation of creators, and exhibitions of their work allow to discover all new facets of architectural art.